Even though technology is growing exponentially, and humanity seems to increase and turn into machines, we are still as human as we were years ago. Nowadays, society may appear to turn off its human side and activate its automatic mode, using their phone and automatizing every action. However, we want people to remember and reflect about how humans we still are, and that no technology will ever take that humanity from us. We understand the power that society has when people decide to unite and join their voices into one. When interested in something in common, when disasters happen, and when a change is want to be made. No technology can take away this power, not even match the strength of all mankind. This is the reason we carefully selected these different art pieces from different media, to make a reminder to people about how humans they can be, how powerful they are together, and how far our voice can go with the help of technology. Las Rastradoras is a group of women from El Fuerte dedicated to search missing people in Sinaloa. Due to drug war in Mexico from 2009 to 2019, a lot of people were killed and their bodies were never rescued. They used different metal tools to search the bodies. In this auditive experience, you can hear recordings from the tools they used to exhume the bodies. Also, crying and laments of the families are able to be heard in this audio installation. We wanted the spectators to be immersed in a different sensation. This auditive experience is to make notice the power of humanity, that, for a common goal, people can be extremely empathic with the other and together challenge anyone or anything. In this case, the use of technology is not only to create an empathic environment, but also to take these stories to every people.
The students of Universidad Iberoamericana upload a compilation of 131 videos of their students as the result of the repressing acts of the government. This is a video that started after Peña Nieto's visit to the university, in which the students kicked him off because of the Atenco disturbs, a fight that violated so much human rights. After that, 131 students upload a single video showing their school ID and telling their names to show the united front against Peña Nieto's candidature to the presidency. That triggered the I'm 132 movement. This audiovisual shows the relationship between human thirst of justice and how technology helps achieve that. Nowadays, technology and social media are something essential in our everyday life, even for getting a job. Nevertheless, this kind of technology is an exponential help for change and social movements. This sculpture shows different social movements hashtags that went viral all over the world. It is placed over a vinyl that represents the world and its world's reach. Different strings is added per hashtag and then connected to the others to show where they started and its connections. What we want to show with this work is that technology is not dehumanizing us. On the contrary, it is so our humanity that we are adding that to technology. We want to express the fact that all together can make our voice heard, and technology is only a tool to exponentialize the changes to make.
We do not always see ourselves in need of big technologies to express our ideas or our posture about something and reach a lot of people. In fact, we can always step aside internet or cell phones and some make our voice noticed. Láser operacional #NoMeCansaré is one example of that. It does not use cell phones, social media, internet or so, to state the unconformity about the untransparent information the government gave when the 43 normalists disappeared in Ayotzinapa. This is a protest intervention during people's mobilization, demanding information about these 43 students missing from Ayotzinapa. These lasers were projected in important and concrete architecture where it could reach a lot of people, like the Senate and Mexico City's downtown, with a projection quoting #NoMeCansaré, and in the Zócalo's enormous Mexican flag, a laser school was projected.
This is a memorial dedicated to children who were victims of a genocide or a hate crime. The interior of the space It results in glass to record in 20,000 pieces of glass of irregular shape. The crystal spheres represent tears from the children that suffer these events. The building of a site for commemoration from the universal symbol of the union between people rescues the positive connotation of human history and calls for commitment, memory, respect, and tolerance. This work alludes to the genesis of every story, to the foundation, to peace. It creates awareness of what hate can do to humans. It also brings empathy, peace, sadness, and other emotions because of the crystals that represent the life of one child. A beautiful work of art that evokes a deep pain. Every inch of movement of the observer makes the image change and take any shape. It is always linked by the threads that unite each piece. This artwork represents the olive tree, since it is a work of art made of white diamonds, simulating the souls of the people who died in the concentration camps. In the history of humanity, we find sad episodes that with negative force drove the most incomprehensible acts for the human mind. The extermination of man towards man is a real representation of what hate, misused power, racism can do to humanity. It creates awareness of what happened in the past thanks to the disunity and diversity. It creates awareness of what people can do together, of the power everyone has, and if we used to have a better world, we should do everything in everyone's power to achieve that goal.
9/11 series by Donna Livingstone. Donna Livingstone used photographs she took just after the Twin Towers attack to transform it into a painting. She uses handmade pastels made by her to recreate the images she took from the event. The tragic beauty of smoke and dust clouds in the midst of 9/11 took on spiritual overtones for Livingstone, and she focused on that aspect in the series of pastels she created in late 2001 and 2002. We selected this series of works because it has an original and personal way to transform tragic events into art pieces. The attack of the Twin Towers was a terrible event that affected many people. This work is worth of attention and to give it time to think about all the lives that were taken that day. It is part of many works that show the grief of the people. Tumbling Woman by Eric Fischel. Eric Fischel experienced the attack of the Twin Towers in New York City. This experience included images he lived, just as people jumping from the buildings to survive, and died anyways. This was a significant event in his life, so he transformed it into art. There are various versions of the sculpture and people have been touched by each one of them. It is a representation of a woman that just fell down of one of the buildings. We selected this work because this sculpture was exposed in various public places in New York, causing big emotional reactions. It was considered very explicit and very intense, provoking its removal from public places. We think it has a big power to transmit the feeling of all the losses, and people deserve to know how those citizens felt and reflect about what happened.
We can see how important art is now, and how important it has always been. Different avant-garde movements have brought with them critics to the current politics and society, that have not always been seen as something positive or ideal. Now, we can see the use of technology in art as new experimental ways to make politically motivated art that supports social movements that criticize politics or even express empathy to those who had been forgotten. Art is the most pure example of humanity, and even when technology seems to be tearing that away from us, this collection of art pieces show how society can always use technology to its favor. This collection shows art is always politically relevant and necessary to make changes, and how powerful art can be in order to achieve common society goals and make a change. So go out and make art. Express those things you think need a change. Use technology in your favor and let a humanity do the rest.